to any developments of late?
Yeah, I spoke to both Jack and his father, and I think Jack just didn't want to make his mind up at this stage. He wanted to complete the season at Aston Villa, with some important games for them coming up, and he wants to make his decision sometime in the future.
Are you disappointed by that response?
Yeah, I suppose I am. He's been doing very well now recently, and it would have been nice, but that's Jack's decision.
Would you have included him for these games if he had?
Yes. I spoke to the father and said I would like to have brought him into it, but of course you don't want to force someone who might not want to make that decision just at this moment.
What's your gut feeling on this? Do you think you will declare for Ireland?
You know what? I really don't know at this stage, but I'm sure that there's still a good possibility.
Did you change your mind, Martin, since one of the last press conferences you said you thought it might be a bit early for him, the Scotland game? He came only in 19.
Well, of course, he's played a lot of games since then. He had not been a regular member of the team, and when he did, he was generally a sub. But here, under Tim Sherwood, he has started quite a number of games. And not that I would start preempting Tim's teams, but he has made a very good impression from the start. Obviously, as these games go along, he'll get fitter as well too by starting matches. He seems to be lasting longer in the games as well too, and doing a lot of good work. So of course, yes, the last 4 or 5 weeks have made a big difference to obviously to Jack's career, and obviously to my thinking.
Do you still think that the Scotland game might have been too big for him?
Well, I don't know. I think that's hypothetical now, so it doesn't really matter at this stage. At the time that I was dealing with it, with him not playing very much football, it was. I think my answer was pretty obvious, and it was one that I would have made. Now, since this, of course, I'm not even sure that Jack would have realised that he would play the number of games he has done since, and also in quick succession as well too. So he's getting a really good feel of Premiership football. And making an impression as well too. So all of those things that, let's say 5 weeks ago, might not have been anybody's consideration, of course, is a very natural change, and one then that, with that bit of experience, although short but progressive, then that would have been a decision for me to think about. If he had not been involved in these 5 or 6 games, then I'm sure that the game against Scotland may have been rather tough at that time. But now he's getting used to it. It's a different issue.
You remember when he accepted the award a couple of months back, he said that he'd like to come back in the green shirt, but at under 21 level. Do you think that's still the route he wants to take?
I don't know about that. At that time, again, he was. I think he was just getting into the Villa side. He's now. He is seen now as not only just part of the squad, but seemingly part of the team, and people's aspirations change a little bit during the course of weeks, never mind months. So that might be something that he might look at differently. But he did say he didn't want to make a decision now. The only thing from our own point of view is that we would have brought him in. Still wouldn't have wanted to put a great deal of pressure on him. Wouldn't have minded him training with us for the week leading up to the England game, being part of that match, but still not having to worry about making a decision for Scotland. So yeah, disappointing in that aspect, but that's.
Do you think England will want him?
I have no idea. I think you'd have to ask Roy about that.
But do you think he's good enough now for international?
I would have to ask Roy. I think seriously, I think it would be. I think that I do not want to sound as if England are miles better than us, but I think it would be difficult to get into the England squad just at this moment.
On a broader level, what more can you or the FAI do to attract players who are first or second generation of power?
I think we're doing okay.
Martin, just I think at the time there was a bit of concern that Roy's comments about his dad might have scuppered any kind of chance of him going to play for him. Did his dad mention that at all?
No, absolutely not. Definitely did not. And I wouldn't have thought that. I think they would have treated that there just with in a jocular fashion. No, absolutely not. He didn't. Never mentioned it at all.
Just when you were speaking to both him and his dad about this, did his dad have much of an influence, do you think, over this decision, or is it just all Jack's?
I think it'd be unfair for me to give a definitive answer in that one. I really don't know.
To stay with Aston Villa, Shay Given getting back in the side into the first team was obviously very, very pleasing to you.
Well, it's great news for Shay for a start, and you know, there was again not picking Tim's team for him, but he's played matches up until the cup final, so there's a possibility of looking forward to that. He's now got into the side, and really, if he continues to play, then it can only be good news for us at international level.
Kieran Clark appears to be.
He's definitely out of the squad. He picked up the injury, and it looks as if he's going to miss the rest of Aston Villa's season. And the news coming through from the medical side at Aston Villa was that he wouldn't be ready until maybe halfway through June.
Martin, how's Robbie Keane? How is his groin injury?
He's okay. He's all right. Yes, he's just texted message through to say that he's okay.
Martin, you've included Adam Rooney in the squad there. I know some people may always look at the strikers in playing the Scottish Premiership and maybe say they're not up to that kind of standard as strikers playing the Premier League or other top divisions. Do you think he can do a job at international level? Is he good enough?
Well, it is a provisional squad, but I think that on the back of some very decent performances, we've had him watched pretty regularly. Roy went up to see him there quite some time ago, and although he didn't think that was his best game, thought he had something to offer. And and maybe it's the season he's had. He's done very well. Hard to make that step up, like everything else, from club level to international level. But that applies to I think most players. So I hadn't a problem including him this year, probably for the season he's had at Aberdeen, and maybe the same applied to young Judge at Brentford, whom I've seen pretty regularly, and who has done pretty well.
The fact that Adam has scored so many goals this season, will that maybe? Do you think it gives him a good chance of making the cut?
I wouldn't call that at this moment, but I'm sure it'll be a boost for him to be named in the provisional squad anyway.
Martin, as well as preparation for the Scotland game, how significant is the England game given what's happened in Manchester?
The England game, you're talking about a political situation rather than in terms of a sporting occasion. From my own viewpoint, the game is very important because it gives us an opportunity to play a full-blooded game a week before Scotland, primarily because we've got a number of players who will not have played a game since the 2nd or 3rd of May, and that will take some time to acclimatise. We've got a little bit of a build-up beforehand. We've got a game against Northern Ireland. It's behind closed doors, but it's an opportunity for us to swap and change and turn around, and that's on the Thursday before the Sunday game. So in terms of the preparation, the England game for the Scotland match should be excellent.
Martin, just back to the Jack Grealish situation for a moment. Do you think by revealing today that you wanted him to join the squad, that that's forced his hand or will force his hand? I don't think it's an attempt to preempt anything, but I think Jack had mentioned before, in fairness to him, that he didn't want to make a decision at that time. Again, my point was that then, since he wasn't a regular member of the side, then it seemed less important at that stage. I still think, really, regardless of that bringing him into the squad for a week's training, see how we get on. Obviously, in an attempt to try and see that the FAI would actually look after him. I think they have done at every level, believe it or not.
might have been something in that. But at the end of the day, he has done well enough at Aston Villa to be thought of as a proper senior player.
Do you feel rebuffed?
No, I don't take it personally. Let me put it that way.
Was it related to today's press conference because you were in chats and negotiations with his father?
Not necessarily. No, no. Might have been something to do with a few other issues, you know. So I'm really sorry I've kept you waiting.
Martin, I'm not sure if you're aware of comments made by Eamon Dunphy last night, who suggested that the Irish camp had been insulting and disrespectful towards Jack in the handling of the situation. Would you like to respond to that at all?
I have no idea what he said.
Well, essentially, he said that the Irish camp had, the way that Ireland had conducted their approach and the relationship with Jack had been insulting and disrespectful.
And Eamon said that.
He did last night.
That's good enough for me.
Just when the squad had been finalised, at that stage, just for one last moment, at that stage Villa will know their Premier League status for next season. Is there a transfer late arrival for Jack when you finalise the squad?
Sorry?
Do you think he may come back to you?
No, I think that we've put in the squad. I think Jack is pretty firm in what he wants to do, and that's fine.
Martin, do you think you've seen James McCarthy's last few performances for Everton? Have we seen a different kind of James McCarthy emerge?
Well, I thought his second half performance against Poland was pretty outstanding, and I think he's picked up from that. I think he's gone with that bit of belief, playing against those players, top quality players that Poland possess. The very fact that he could go and dominate proceedings for about 45 minutes in the match just took him a little bit of time to get into the game, and I think he got a lot of self-belief from that match, and I think he's carried that form on at club level now, where he's getting forward, he's scoring a few goals, hitting a few posts, and I think that he feels now that he's pretty comfortable with it, and I think, I'm not saying that to trace everything back to the second half of the game, but it's certainly given him a massive lift, and he did very well for us, and also the fact that for the last 5 or 6 weeks he looks as if he's been able to keep himself fit.
Just on John O'Shea, John O'Shea's turned 34 over the last couple of weeks, and just from your own experience, Martin, over the years dealing with older players, how long do you think John has to give service to Ireland over the next while? How long more do you think he can go?
Do you know, it's, I think that the players nowadays would, I certainly think that they would look after themselves a wee bit better than perhaps players in my time. I think that the rewards are very, very big. I think that players just over 30 now, I think players tend to look after themselves really better, but those who would be reaching the top end of their career would want to prolong it for as long as possible, and if he stays fit, there's no reason why John shouldn't be around for a little while longer. But he has picked up an injury, but I think there's talk, according to the medics anyway, that he may make himself available for this weekend, and with a little bit of luck, if that's not the case, then maybe for the end of the season for Sunderland, hopefully he comes through that and he's okay for us. But he's been admirable for us.
Martin, how much of a different team can we expect against Scotland next month when you compare to the team that started in Glasgow?
Well, I haven't. Do you mean in terms of personnel, or do you mean in terms of yeah, there might be 1 or 2 changes in the side. Some might have been forced upon you anyway as well too. We have a few more weeks to get through as well too. But it's a game that, stating the obvious here, it's a game that we really have to win, and I think we're capable of doing it.
Martin, you said you've seen our judge a number of times this season. What's impressed you as a player?
Well, as an ex-midfielder myself, the ability to get hold of the ball, the ability to make something happen or attempt to make something happen in the game, not content to lay the ball sideways at times or play it backwards. When the opportunity is there to drive into space, he's done that, and he just He's been. I mean, there's a number of decent players playing for Brentford at this minute who are not Irish, but he's had some excellent games with them and pushed them into this position that they're in now at the moment, at the top end of the table.
David, by a fellow Irish midfielder, Douglas, do you consider this?
I've put the list down. Again, similar consideration, and particularly has been eye-catching really.